I'll pay attention to the...
No, because you've said this before, Jeff, and you've lied to us.
I was looking down. I missed it.
I already started it.
Okay.
Welcome to Everyone Racers. Jeff is annoyed already. A podcast designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. Whatever kind of LeChamp or track dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate. We even think you Drifto Hella Flush guys are all right, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes from the world of low buck racing, and if you can handle it, Chrissy will give you just a tip. I'll be your pit marshal. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Mental.
And we are... And we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to another superlative here episode of our podcast. This is episode 26. We have a guest here tonight. He's a new guy. His name is Bill. He is listener number 11 officially. Bill, would you like to say hi?
How are you doing, everybody?
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Bill. Bill, welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
For the other 10 listeners, we mentioned that Bill gave us a tremendously wonderful list of questions onto our Facebook, and none of you other slackers did. So since he gave good questions, we invited him
and
on
a wonderful, very long email, too.
And a great email.
With a background and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we said, what a better way to introduce a topic of what are the things you need to know to start a Lemons team, other than invite a guy who's starting a Lemons team. So let's start with what you working on. Mental, what you working on?
Well, first
all right, so
Bill is definitely, if he's looking to make poor decisions, which is what Lemons is about, he has come to the right place. So let's, speaking of poor decisions, Mental, come on.
All right, so not that my cadets listen to this, but so we...
I hope not.
Yeah, God. Yeah, I still have a job. My cadets, we went to the region marksmanship shootout. We've been shooting 6 out of 8 teams all season.
What?
But we actually, the kids came together. It was an all-time high score. No one in the school can remember shooting this well, and we officially made it into the postseason. I could not be just more proud of those guys. It was just awesome. So, yeah, we are now we're going to go to shoot against another region. And if they have a really bad day and we have another really good day, who knows? I might be staring at a state marksmanship meet. So it's way to go, guys. And then what they don't know, and I'll find out who listens to this podcast tomorrow, is we got the results from the state drill meet that we went to on Saturday. And even though we didn't get a trophies, they goofed up on the scoring. And I looked at their score sheet, and my kids pulled out a 4th place in unarmed inspection. So they're going to find that out tomorrow.
Unarmed inspection? Why don't you look at their arms? Isn't that an important part of their uniform?
How do they not have arms? And how do they do stuff?
Their arms are covered. They're wearing a uniform.
No freedom fondles, just the 3D scanners. Unarmed inspection. And I was trying to think of a school shooting joke that wasn't totally wrong, and I could not think of one, so we're going to go.
We've got the school shooting joke. It happened up in Dalton with a teacher who decided to squeeze one off in class.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Let's stay off the politics. Chris, what are you working on?
Thanks, Jeff. I've been making a home office because now that I get to work at home a little more often.
You?
Oh, fact. Well, when it gets to your section, you could say, I have also been making a home office. He asked me. I'm answering the question. Fine. We have been making a home office.
That's funny.
And so that involved changing it from a really tragic color of teal that it was when we bought the house 9 years ago, and it still was because we don't use this room. Now it's a lovely blue-green, and I fixed holes in the walls.
What do the cats think of the new color? Because it was the cat room before.
Yeah, they don't really know what to think of it now. They'll
learn. Getting used to
the
it.
Cats. That and snow removal. And not going to Hartford this week like I was expecting to. So that's all.
That?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cyclone bomb.
Chrissy, tell us your part of the office.
So I was also helping with the office. I actually did the primer and Chris did the paint. So I have been actually helping, and he's going to do the trim. And then I'll probably wash the carpets because we need to do that. We did it in all the rest of the rooms when we bought the house, but that one we just haven't cared about at all. So I think the cats are getting used to it. They keep walking around saying like, "Where's all of our stuff?" And then it's out in the hallway right now, so I guess it needs a new home.
One of them is so old she doesn't know this room from the next room. She
doesn't really know where she is.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I've got a couple upcoming events. One is a Girl Scout event that I'm running. It's one of those. Each group of girls walk around and learn about different countries. So that's I'm running that, and I have my Girl Scout troop doing that. So I've got double duty for that. And then today,
wait. We talked about this. What country did they get?
Vietnam.
Excellent.
Yes, they chose that while we were together actually. So they're working on that tomorrow, and so it snowed here. We worked from home today, so both of Chris and I were sitting in the office, which is great. And then we cleared some snow, and here we are. Jeff, what are you doing?
Very nice. So most people, when snow is coming, they like go and get milk and bread.
And
beer. I bought flooring. I said, if I'm going to be snowed in, I'm going to get a room done. So I went a drastically different direction than you guys who like to put in all that hardwood stuff. And for Josh's room, because he's a 9-year-old, and this is not the permanent solution. This is just get rid of the cat pee smelling carpet solution. We got vinyl plank flooring. And it will be the first time I'm attempting this, and supposedly it is excellent and wears like iron. Iron for the other side of the curtain.
Vinyl plank, does it go down like hardwood flooring, or are you unrolling it and ironing it?
No, it click locks. So it is planks. It is thick, not flexible, and it is just not hard. It's just the substrate or top matter is vinyl, not wood.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I put click lock hardwood in another area, and I didn't like it because it scratched, and I don't know, just don't like it. So. Yeah, that's what I did. So I canceled my parking spot because some fool bought my trailer. That was good. Saved myself $85 whole a month.
Yes. Luckily, my have headphones on, so Vicky can't come off over the computer.
Seriously?
Yeah. But I'm getting the eye now.
She knows. She knows.
Talking about the trailer.
I repaired my wife's Dyson ball vacuum. I had to take it all apart. It was fantastic. Anyone who's going to college and wants to be the most popular guy on the floor, learn how to repair a vacuum. Because everybody sucks stuff up. It destroys the vacuum.
The engineer says no.
What, Bill?
Repair a vacuum, you will be the most important guy on the floor.
Well, usually
Bill thinks not.
Tell us why.
I know no one who's ever even used a vacuum in college.
Well, I suppose you've always been popular in college if you knew how to make things suck. So
the girls use the vacuum.
Stop it.
Anyway, I use the vacuum all the time. I don't know.
Our room was voted most comfortable because you could fall anywhere and not hit any hard spots because it was covered in clothes. So.
Good.
Noted.
Well,
on that note.
Yeah, on that note, Bill, what are you working on?
Well, I bought a car, and then I found out that was going to be a monstrosity to fix. So then I bought another car, and then I got talked into, well, they had two and wanted to make room for a car that I wanted them to have. So I ended up, I have two cars now, but we can talk about that a little bit later.
Two Lemons cars, right?
Two Lemons cars, yes.
Go
so
big
I
or go
technically
home.
have three because I still haven't gotten rid of the first one. So.
All right.
And you're joining us via the intertubes. Where, pray tell, do you live, and where, pray tell, did you pick up said crappy cars?
Well, I live in Northeast Pennsylvania, just a little north of Scranton. I picked up one a little south of Scranton. That was failed attempt number one, and then I hope that successful attempt number 2 and 3 came from South Jersey down by the Delaware Memorial Bridge.
Mm.
Oh,
all the way.
I got to drive
no.
through Philly 4 times yesterday.
Well.
So you made
because you have one trailer and had to go back and forth. Is that the idea?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't have one trailer. U-Haul has one trailer.
Oh yeah.
That's even worse.
That's a good plan. That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh man. Well, we're going to get to that.
Note,
Go ahead.
I'll say we play trivia every Monday night with our neighbors across the street, and I actually won a trivia question on what if you drive across the Delaware Bridge, what state do you end up in? And I'm like, I've done that a few times.
Sorry.
Sorry, not
Nothing
sorry.
wrong with that.
Oh, it actually says that at the end of the Delaware Bridge. We're sorry.
Memorial
Yeah,
Bridge.
it might be actually because you're in New Jersey then.
Mhm.
Don't
I guess it
forget,
depends on which way you're going.
all the one-way tolls on the bridges in Jersey are on the outbound.
Yeah, you gotta pay to leave.
You got to pay to leave because if you had to pay to go to Jersey, no one would go. News and notes time. Who's got something?
I do. I found an interesting article. It was super long, so I didn't actually read the whole thing. But it was actually from a Carbon Driver, so the link that I found it through was just MSN. But basically, Hurricane Harvey destroyed more vehicles than any single event in America. So I said, this is eye-catching. How many? Just give me a number. And they said, depend on who's counting. So nobody has any real answer, but they were trying to go through all of the different, how many State Farm auto claims, that's what I was looking for, auto claims were done. But one of the things that I thought was interesting was that they said that one place had to destroy $61,000 worth of new tires, which is odd, but they had to put holes in them because the inside of tires aren't made to get wet. So I thought that was a sad thing and interesting of why they had to do that. Go ahead, Mental.
Well, and I'm generally curious how much more thousands of dollars that they spend on the labor to drill holes in all of them, which good on them because some unsavory character would have driven them to the Midwest and sold them out of the back of his truck.
Sure. Dry them out, use them. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I read.
No,
and
but that's if you figure you're paying a guy $10 an hour to drill holes in tires and $61,000 worth of tires is going to take a while.
Pretty much. So, so State Farm said they had settled 38,300 auto claims and $400 million by the middle of December. And that was only was it November when Hurricane Harvey happened? So I just thought it was interesting.
And that was only one carrier too. So
that was only one carrier, yeah. And so they're trying to figure out how many, and I don't have that answer. But apparently somebody says that this hurricane was the worst. So that's all I know.
Interesting. I was Googling while you were talking. 690,000 cars were destroyed on cash for clunkers trades. So I think almost, well, we have no idea because we have no idea how many actually Hurricane Harvey destroyed, but in comparison.
Well, and this is any single event. So I don't know what
event.
I don't know what they were considering if that was just weather related. I have no idea. So
yeah. But also, I mean, if it had been something like your Mercedes, that's the equivalent to 20 cash for clunkers. Much less you start to get into any Denali SUV. Yeah.
Just like Ferrari showrooms, Porsche showrooms. I mean, they had all these.
That's true. They were actually nice cars.
Yeah, and then they did list them all in there, and then they were saying some of the high end, what they lost. So that's just one car.
Sounds like it's time to go lemon shopping.
I don't know where they are.
Anyway. I got a story here, and then we're going to move on to our. Oh, actually, I think there's one more after this, but it was just announced by Volkswagen that the current generation of Beetle is the last Beetle in the line. They will not be refreshing it. When it is done, it will be done.
I've heard this before.
The retro vehicle will be the bus. VW's new MEB electric platform will be under the bus. Everything that is electric that's coming out of the new MEB platform is called ID something, and the bus will be called the ID Buzz, Buzz, not BUSS. And it was an interesting article, and basically the VP from Volkswagen said we had a new Beetle, and then we had a new Beetle, and how many times you're gonna have a new Beetle? Because
good call.
It's new, and it's really the end of the line. So
good call.
No loss there.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a whole lot of sorority girls that were going to go pledge Omega Mu, and now they won't have a convertible to drive to college.
I did like when they put the little caps over the license plates that had either or not the license plates, I'm sorry, the taillights that had they made them little daisies, or the fronts that had little eyes. It was so cute.
I'd just like to mention that my
Bill is actually. I see him logging off now. The boss Bill.
Oh.
My current student government president has had two. She wrecked one. She got another one.
She's sad.
She is in a sorority.
All right.
Go ahead.
Anyway.
So, and this has been showing up on the Facebooks. If you have not, you should go to O'Reilly's website, # This should totally sponsor us, and just go into the parts search window and type in 1 21G. That's the number 1, the number 2, the number 1, and the letter G. Hit enter. Throw it up on the Facebook, what you find, because it's pretty funny. And O'Reilly's has a sense of humor.
I'm pretty sure everybody did this, like everybody on the internet.
Yes, I believe it is a Toyota head gasket, if I'm correct. If I remember
No,
correctly.
you are incorrect. You're thinking
You are
of
incorrect.
ask him to describe the water pump gasket for a Toyota truck.
Oh, okay.
It's
water
like,
pump gasket.
which looks like Thunderbolt course at New Jersey.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. And you know what else is great on Thunderbolt course, Jeff?
This is terrible. I'm moving
Is
on
it
to
on
something good.
No, that is a brilliant transition. You let Chris
Yeah.
finish this brilliant transition.
What's a great thing to do on the Thunderbolt course in New Jersey, Jeff?
Grace.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, Extreme Experience. They are sponsors for this show, and they will put you in the driver's seat of some of the world's best supercars at over 20 racetracks coast to coast with no speed limits, no shifting restrictions, no governors. Head to xxspeed.com, choose your supercar, find the racetrack near you, or if you'd like to be
Park.
Exactly. If you'd like to be near us, we choose NJMP, which I believe is in June, middle of June. Start making a story of your own. 7 models of exotic supercars to choose from. 20 plus tracks, year-round location in New Orleans. Pro instructors like Chris, Mental Me, and Shaky Dogs. In the car.
Oh my gosh, they are not. They're not. your
No
instructors.
shaky dogs. Helping you explore the car's limits and learn how to drive the racing line. Save 25%. Yes, I said that correctly. 25% when you use the code, quote, everyone racers, no space, at xxspeed.com to book today. Extreme Experience. It's your turn.
Woo.
Whoa,
Great.
listener feedback. Anybody got any?
Well, I was going to say, do you know who else always should get a turn?
A turn.
Turn.
Yes.
This is a lame intro.
Terrible.
I don't have Chris's skill for segues.
Hi, Mom. Hi.
Hi to Chrissy's mom. Let's get on to
Hi,
listener
Chrissy's
feedback.
mom. Okay,
Mental,
so
go.
Jason H, who runs the Citrus Lounge, gave us lots of good feedback both on our trailer episode and the Fire is Bad episode. And so he threw up there and he said he actually learned a lot. He actually had some good points to make that we were right, and to double check about weight limits because he is a professional truck driver himself, driving into Boston a lot of days. The other one is on the Instagram, the Hong Fathers, all the GRM veterans remember the Hong Nor team. And the original Hong Father, Mikey, he has got an AMC Pacer for that 24 Hours of Lemons rally that they're doing up in Michigan, and called me out by name. So yes, if you're on there, go to Fast Canoe 43 on the Instagram and see what the Hongers are bringing to the Great Lake mistake up at on the 24 Hours of Lemons rally page. And then finally, our buddy Dan Sykes, he is looking for a couple of drivers for Big Red, that BMW 5 Series. It's run chump, it's run lemons, it's crushed egos in AER, and it's faster than it has a right to be. Dan runs a really professional team. I told him I'd pimp him because I like Dan.
Sounds
Which
good.
one is he looking for seats for?
Big Red,
The
the
BMW.
BMW 5
No.
Series.
Which
race he means.
Which you didn't say which race.
I'm sorry, Watkins Glen International, the
That's helpful to
storied
know.
and historic racetrack. No, you're right. Thank you. Historic racetrack up in New York.
With
So,
AER, correct?
With AER, yes.
Great.
But again, if you're worried about the D-bag quote, a good way to fight that is to run with Dan because he is most certainly not a D-bag.
And
I'm
running
just trying
running
to
in Big
make
Red,
it-
I think most things don't want to hit Big Red, or actually already have, perhaps. So
No, that's the Red Rack. That's a different.
no, that the
Yeah,
Big Red.
Oh, no.
Been around the
Big
block
Red
too.
strikes fear in the hearts of people with too pretty of a race car.
Yeah.
It is some sort of 5 Series, correct?
Yeah, it's an E30.
Oh, she's a
E34.
beast.
Yeah.
E34. 5
Anyway,
Series.
let's get on to E34. Thank you.
Yeah, speaking of a car you
my
don't
BMW
wanna get for
is not
lemons.
strong. Let's go on to our main topic. We have a guest this week. He's been sitting and waiting wonderfully to join or jump into this world of lemons racing. And really, that's what this show is all about, is trying to convince people to go racing. So we invited him here to ask some of our questions, probe the minds, and get absolutely terrible, frightening,
Horrible.
incorrect answers to all of his questions, and he probably just should have gone to Lemons board and asked them because they're probably way better than us.
You've gotten a little
But-
bit more straightforward answer, maybe.
It sure as heck wouldn't be as fun. So let's all say hi to Bill.
Hi,
Hey, Bill.
How you doing, everybody?
Bill, tell us a little bit about your team, how you got to Lemons, and where you're at right now, like in the project.
Okay. Well, we've always been into cars and kind of sidelined everything until the kids got a little older. My son's now 17, so he's got the itch to go driving and racing. So talked the CFO of the family into it. So now we have a team of 3 solid people, myself, Vicky, my wife, and my son, Liam. Mia's a little too small at 11, so we got a friend of Liam. So we got 2 17 or 18-year-olds. So that's going to be fun. And they've already said they can make up for any car speed that we lack by their driving skills. So,
no. This attitude, we're going to have to change this.
We'll just put a special spot in the penalty box just for that.
I'm thinking, yeah. I have a feeling it'll be shrink wrapped to a hood. So we'll see.
Wives named Vicky are the best.
I always agree with that.
So that's great. You're kind of in our area of the country. You are planning on hopefully making it to NJMP, correct?
Yes, we will make it to NJMP, whether the car is running or not.
Well, that's all right.
Perfect.
You're officially part of the extended 3-pedal mafia family. You can come and get pork barbecue or smoked ham or whatever it is we have going on that weekend.
Unless you decide that's a terrible idea, which is very possible, and then you'll stay on the other side of the paddock, and it's okay.
We'll be bribing with food as well, so don't worry.
Yes.
There's plenty.
If you're looking for a team to teach you how to do point buys, we are it. we have driven slow and terrible cars for many years, and Citroens and Rolls Royces and boats and Chevy S10s. So there it is. You gave us a bunch of questions. How about you just throw the first one out and we'll start answering.
So when I started looking for a $500 car, I couldn't find anything on the internet in a place that I could find. So one of the questions I always had was, what should you look for in a car? Where can you find a car? Because $500 doesn't show up on, the usual car shopping sites. So,
no.
And then anything you should try to get or try to stay away from.
Well, I'll handle this one. Well, I'll start off with where you find them, because what is a completely different story. Where is just, you just have to constantly look. Constantly just poke into Craigslist, see what's around, look on eBay, look at forums, and tell people that you're looking for something, because if people know you're looking for something, they will help you find it, especially if it's weird or rare, and especially if you have friends that are bored and just search random things all day, Omar, then things...
I was thinking Spank.
Or Spank.
He sends you links all the time.
He does, yeah. Spank sent me the link to the Citroen. After he and I had one conversation once that I really wanted one of those, okay, now I get the link to the Citroen SM of Rhode Island.
Tell him to find us a damn TVR, for crying out loud.
He sent me 2 of them, and they're both in California, and so I said, sorry, a little too far, but thanks, though. So that's the where, is just keep your eyes open. Even just look in the backyard, look in sheds, look at the back of mechanics places. Like, it's eyes open for it. So as far as what you want, it all depends on your goals, because it's a huge difference between if you want to win an IOE or do you want to win overall. Is you're the teams the kind of guys that must go fast and must be competitive, or do you just love something super weird and that's what gets you enjoyed? Do you like wrenching? Or do you like driving more? Some people actually, believe it or not, prefer the wrenching part to the driving. I'd like to have those guys on my team. That'd be great. Thank you.
Hello, Sputnik.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's a good point. Thank you. So, are you just there for a good time and you just have a car like in the backyard? Okay, that can work too. Do you have experience with a particular make and model or a bunch of parts for something or an affiliation with something like I had with Hondas when I started all this? Or do you just have a desire to make something work no matter how bad an idea it is, Sagi? So
I was going to say Datsun truck, but you're so much right.
Yeah.
He skirted that one.
So I'd say it really comes down to find something that's going to meet your goals. But I also would suggest that any team starting off from scratch starts with a car that's already made, because it costs you a lot less and takes a whole lot less time, and you're going to want something different anyway afterwards, so why not spend a little less?
So where are you at in this project? We heard you picked up a car. Tell us about your car search woes.
Well, I picked up a car that I thought was going to be suitable. It turned into it was a oval race car for dirt around here.
Number one thing to avoid.
Yep,
Yeah.
did that.
Because their cages
And
are
then
made
it
of
had-
And we'll talk about that with your next question, which is very smart. But yes.
So it had a roll cage in it, but then when I got into looking at what Lemon's roll cage versus this roll cage, it didn't really have it. And
So
then I
that
started
one-
looking at what it would take to get there, and I was like, well, plan B,
Yeah,
which
so
was to
the
go
cage-
get a different car.
The cage in the oval car was made out of fence posts, basically, right? Exhaust tubing, PVC.
And they're all in the wrong spot. They're
Yeah.
all
Crush
like
bends.
barely. They're going to just crush the driver instead of crush
Yeah.
the.
It was.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite up to. I don't think I would have got through tech inspection. We'll go with that.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but you
please.
now bought a other prepared car. What was that?
Okay, so went and saw a car a couple weeks back, and then decided to go pick him up yesterday, actually. So picked up a '74 Capri and an '84 Mustang.
So did you get the
I am so jealous.
blue Capri?
A blue Capri.
The prompt critical, was that the team name?
That would be it.
No
Oh,
way! I just
hey.
saw that on Facebook that it just went away. That's
Excellent.
kind of funny.
Okay, well done, because that's a great car.
Well,
It's fun.
it should be a great car, but I actually want to ask, like, what are your goals? Let's see. Does this car meet your goals, or can we make it meet your goals?
Okay, so starting off as a team, my goal was, let's try and be safe, and let's try and get in at least some laps for everybody, so that everybody enjoys the first weekend and
So
have
it's
something.
good since your race team is your family.
Yeah, that would be bad with Miss Vicky not being very pleased with us driving 3 hours and then coming back after 20 minutes. That would not go over well.
Well, and again,
So-
you can make more kids, but you're only going to get one wife that's going to put up with this crap.
Yeah, that would make the car seem much cheaper if I get this really, really wrong. So that's not on the table. So I figured with two of them, I can get one of them running. They both need a little bit to get there, but they've been there already, and I think they'll pass inspection. So now the rest of it is just to keep my son from thinking that he is going to dominate. And
Oh, no dominating.
Which is the Mustang? Which Mustang is it? I don't remember them having a Mustang.
it's an '84 Mustang. It's black. I don't think they raced it very often.
Fox body.
Fox
yeah, it
body.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
V8
concentrate.
4-cylinder.
Took the horns
It's
out
a
the
turbo
top.
4.
All right, concentrate on
Turbo
the Capri.
4.
Concentrate on the Capri
Yeah.
for now.
Yeah, the Capri's the number one for me, and so we now have a different theme than we had on the prior Accord. So I'm in charge of technical and safety and car preparedness, and Vicky's in charge of. She's the artist of the family, so she's in charge of theme, and she loves to cook. So I stay out of the way there.
Oh man,
So-
you guys are so far ahead on everything.
Exactly.
You already have roles. This is awesome. High five there. And go ahead,
Bill,
Mental.
what's your background? We were making some jokes before the show started, and then you made a couple of vacuum jokes.
Yeah, well, that was So I am an engineer in materials, but if you were to ask me to work on a car, that would not go over well because my family has a history of woodworking and not metalworking. So if you need something made of wood, I can help you there. But if you want to make a Lemon's car out of wood, I don't think that's going to pass.
You'd be surprised how often that actually comes up.
Yep. There's definitely
Honda's-
been wood
the Honda's
carburetor
still run-
adapters.
Yes, the
and,
Honda's a piece of wood on every car that they run.
Yeah. All right, great. So question one: did we give you a reasonable answer to question one?
I think so. I think the only thing that might, from a newbie perspective, look at is what would you stay away from. I mean, we have a proclivity towards manual transmission just because
Yes.
it should be.
Yes.
Yes.
Good move.
Yes.
But is there something that you should stay away from?
I think Mental has something for this. Go ahead.
Well, and I was going to say, just in addition to that answer, Chris, you hit it on the head. Is get outside of the normal places where you look for cars. Tell all your coworkers you're looking. Hey, you know what? I'm trying to do this crazy $500 race, and you'll get stuff like, hey, my aunt is cleaning out her garage, and she's got a car in her garage she needs to get rid of. I don't know, what kind of car is it? A blue one. But you get over there and you'll find something, and sometimes so you get these coworkers finding these cars through non-car sources. So that's a key point in there. And I'm going to jump on you want to avoid an automatic transmission at Lemons purely for heat, just heat dissipation. And there's a variety of other smart engineering answers to it, but the cars that are automatics that have survived this race, I think you could count on one hand.
Yeah, they're getting better, but still, the manual is a little simpler and much more easier. Aside from avoiding automatics, I tend to think of avoiding cars that are all too common. So avoid the E30 and E36. Avoid the F body. Avoid the Fox body. Sorry,
yes.
Just because there are too many of them. Look for something a little bit more interesting. And generally, the cars that are better on the streets reliability are worse than Lemons, and the exact opposite. So the Alfa Romeo will run far longer than the Camry.
Wow. This is truth. Plus, people let Alfa Romeos pass because they sound so good.
Chrissy, what's up?
Just a quick idea. We keep harping on $500. So it is $500, but that is not the be-all, end-all. And we should kind of don't let that, especially if you're looking for a car, don't say, well, that one's $600 or that one's $1,000. A lot of it's in the spirit of racing. So you want to bring a car that is going to be, you don't want to bring a brand new car. People will make fun of you. Like if you bring a nicer car and it looks pretty, people, that's not in the spirit. So just don't get hung up on that $500.
Well, a $2,000 Borg Award Isabella, no problem. You will be applauded.
Yes.
We've really admitted a $400 E36.
Bad news.
Bad form.
Yeah, I've sold an actual $500 E30 to a team, and it was a real life $500 E30. It was totally beat up. It was totally half crunched, and the first thing they did was they fixed the fenders. And then gave it a better paint job. And they painted it. And I was like, you're an idiot. You just did the wrong thing. You should have left it beat up. So, yeah, it's definitely about the spirit. Why don't we move on to question number 2 there, Bill?
Okay, so some of the things that I started looking at was the $500 car rapidly becomes a non-$500 car when you start looking at the safety stuff. So any ideas or tips on where to get the safety equipment, suits, the fire extinguisher bottles, roll bars especially, because up by me with the amount of people I know up here, which is few because we just moved over here, roll bar quotes were like $3,000 plus.
Ooh,
so that was not what I wanted.
No.
That's why we build our own.
Yes, but you can't weld wood, so I'm not really good at that.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, but it keeps catching fire.
I know.
All right, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to jump on this one. So this is the key point of this one. This is one of the great things about across the board. And I would say Lemons, 24 Hours of Lemons is the strongest in this aspect, and it's the community. So post up on the Lemons board, hey, this is where I am, and this is what I'm looking to do. And what you want to do is you want to find a fabricator that knows how to build a cage to Lemons specs. Down where I am, there's a lot of great off-road shops, and people have made the mistake of taking their cars to an off-road shop, or where was it down when we were racing in Alabama? Someone went to a muffler shop. They went to a muffler shop and had their cage built, and it broke every rule that they had on there, and they made them take it back on there. So find a guy. Now, it's not so much geographically local to you, but I'm going to give Izzy's Custom Cages in St. Louis a shout out. And the great thing about Izzy is he'll actually give you advice, and he's built lots of cages for SCCA, NASA, and Lemons and Chump, and so he knows what they're. Get on the message board and start talking to people that know what they're talking about on there. Now, I'll get more into the other kind of equipment, but Chris, you've got something about roll cages.
I just want to say that Izzy's also does plasma cutouts of tracks. So those metal cutouts that we have of tracks, they do that.
Oh,
yeah, they're even on Etsy. Izzy's.
They're hot.
Well, that's where I buy all of yours.
Hashtag
and vice versa. So they are great. That guy's on the GRM board too. Totally a nice guy, grassroots, good guy. Anyway, so sorry.
Yeah. So, and Jeff put it in this note, but I'm going to read it. But a roll cage from someone who knows Lemons is better than an off-road shop who does it. And you mentioned you made the mistake of buying a circle track car, and because they get into their mounting points as regards to having an advantage. And Lemons always is going to lean towards the point of safety, despite what the rumors you may have heard. So Lemons mounting points are all about safety. There is a brilliant tutorial on.
Jeff, Mental went quiet for a second. So Mental was
going
to say, he was going to say there's a brilliant.
It wouldn't go over the internet.
They're back. He's back.
There's a brilliant tutorial. Go ahead.
Brilliant tutorial on the Lemons page called How Not to Fail Tech. And it's a PowerPoint presentation. Go through it, learn it, live it, take it to your cage builder. But I would go on the Lemons board and say, I live here. Who can build me a good cage? I think you should be able to build one for anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000 is reasonable for a good quality cage. A spec Miata cage is $1,200 delivered to your door. Now, I know steel prices are going up because of all that stuff going on in China, but they're starting to bottom out a little bit. Now, I'll go back into personal gear, but does anybody have anything to add when it comes to roll cages? Because you and Chrissy have a cage, or rather a tube bender in your garage. Mm-hmm. So you guys can actually just buy the steel cheap. And the other thing about this, Bill, is you're already starting to figure this out, is the car itself also has to be a community. So bring your friends over, bribe them with pizza and beer. If your wife is a cook, that's even better because more people show up when you've got a good cook to help you do that kind of work. But to start leveraging the capabilities of your friends. But anybody for the better of the order got something on this one?
No, I think you covered it all.
Yep.
Go to personal gear.
All right, personal gear. Personal gear is like sneakers and new cars. I will say this 1,000 times. They come out with new models every year, which means that the expired stuff, which means not stylish anymore, goes on sale. My personal favorite, I like Discovery Parts because they're just up the road from me. I know the guy personally, and every time I'm hanging out with the Hong Nors, his wife comes over and feeds us over there in the garage in Atlanta Motorsports Park. Safe Racer, I've been to their warehouse just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, or outside of St. Joseph, Missouri, and they are great. They will help you out with anything. You tell them exactly what they want, what you're trying to do, and they will bring you the cheapest, highest quality stuff that they have. And all of these guys have closeouts and sales and all that kind of stuff. We also love Race Quip because they sell all of the they sell the used racer suits.
Race Image.
Race Image has great deals on all kinds of suits that I can't afford and I totally want. Oh, he did not bust out a Smithfield Bacon driving suit. Bill, you are off the show. I hate you because I looked at that suit. That was
wow.
Fueled by bacon
on it.
You God.
Wow.
He has a suit that says fueled by bacon.
That is awesome.
He doesn't need us. He's making all the right choices already. Yeah.
He bought a car off a good team. He bought a Race Image suit.
He bought a bacon-themed suit. So
bacon-themed suit, right. Man. Now, this is the other thing, and again, I'm going to use Jeff's words on here because he put this in there, but there's a lot of stuff on there that either you can lean towards hardcore or comfortable. And Jeff's words of wisdom is hardcore. If you're 17, hardcore is cool. If you're 45, it sucks. Anything that you would say to your child builds character, you don't want to do. So pay attention to the mounting points of your door bars. My favorite thing about the Three Pedal Mafia is all of their cars are easy in and easy out. Steering wheels are out of the way. They're removable when they need to be. They're not removable when they don't need to be. We don't go with the super tight racing seats. Everything gets in there, and the belts are always ready to fly away at a moment's notice. Lean towards comfort. You're going to be in that car at least 90 minutes, closer to 2 hours once you guys start figuring out the rhythm. So always get on top of that. Chris, you've got some experience in this area.
Yeah, make everything easy, but also everyone needs their own safety gear too. That is not a place to share except for neck braces. You can share neck braces. Sharing someone else's stanky, gross, wet suit or helmet is just not worth it.
I don't even like standing next to people that have them on.
Yeah.
I want to wear it.
I told you guys about the Lemons race in Texas with the guys with the Volvo. Justin Howe had to weld up their roll cage for them, and they had one driving suit for 4 of them. Oh. And you could see them about halfway through the day on Sunday as they were sliding their arms into this driving suit. The look on their face like, we did not do this correctly.
I put this in the notes, and this has happened also. Every now and then, someone will puke in the car and in their helmet.
Bruce.
Wow.
If you are sharing gear, you're now going to get on a pukey suit. So you need to get your own suits. And I just want
not fueled by bacon. Pukey suits are not fueled by bacon.
No, not at all.
Well, they could be, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
No, never. Bacon will never betray you, Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, Bill, I'm going to give you 2 semi-local places that you could drive to, and I'm going to tell you why you're going to drive to them. if you haven't bought your helmets yet,
No.
helmets are something you need to try on. People have different shape heads, and different shape helmets fit different kinds of people. Like, you can measure your head and get something that is uncomfortable, even though it fits.
And
so,
we've talked about this on the shows.
yeah, we've talked about this on the show. There's a place in Dover, New Jersey, which is not too far from you, called Driving Impressions. Hashtag, he should totally sponsor us. I went there for my first set of gear. The guy there is great. He basically looked at me and he says, "Oh, Lemons, let me just check the website real quick to make sure I'm giving you the right stuff." He checked the website. He suited me up. He found me a pair of semi-dirty gloves that someone had returned because they got a grease stain on them at some point, and sold them to me for half price.
Clearly not a Lemons racer.
He sold me a suit that he bought a whole bunch of. They were black, but the dye didn't take right, and it kind of looked a little brown.
No, it's purple.
It really is purple.
It was kind of it was kind of brown when I bought it, but it was purple and then later. It was a great suit. He gave me great prices. He felt my head, and he said, "Try this one."
That's weird.
Where is it pinching you?
All this out of context is wonderful.
I know. It sounds horrible.
Someone just clicked ahead and went, "He felt my head," and they have unsubscribed from iTunes.
And then it pinched, and he said, "Well, where did it pinch you?"
Right.
This is not. It was not with a doll. It was not with a lawyer. But I'm telling you,
Bill's logging off again.
Yeah.
my helmet fit amazing, and I know that I have a Simpson-shaped head, and when I had to replace it, I bought another Simpson, and it fits great.
And Discovery Parts did the same thing for me. I put the helmet on. I was at a BMW track day event, and he's like, no, go walk around with it for a while. So, and there are any number of reputable race gear distributors, and you're smart enough to know good customer service. And when they tell you stuff like, no, don't make your decision right now. Go through, try this. It's like buying anything else. And then the guy that gives you the customer service may not have the best price, but that's the guy you go to when you've got a problem or you need to solve an equation.
Helmets are 100% worth trying on.
Absolutely.
Okay. Did we answer that question all right, Bill?
Yeah, there was one thing I wasn't sure about, though. I'm not sure if it fits in safety, though. Cool suit optional or semi-required?
No.
Semi-required.
Okay.
Well,
The first time you ever run with a cool suit, it will be required.
Yeah.
Okay. Very well. Is that a one-person per suit?
Yeah. Well, it's the same way. That is what's next to your skin. So if you don't want to put on the race
One
suit,
per suit. Okay. Very good. Vicky will get the first one. I will be second. My son someday.
Perfect.
Maybe.
Yeah. If you're running only in like in October or the winter, you don't need it probably. But anytime you're in like May, basically New Jersey or Thompson or any of those, required. Yeah,
okay.
Totally
Wait,
required.
not required by Lemons, just
No.
required
Right.
for your safety and your life.
And the other thing is, buy the shirts. Don't make them. We've made them and bought them. The bought ones are better. But making the coolers is actually not too bad. You save a ton of money and you end up with 90% of the quality.
Okay.
It's basically a bilge pump in a cooler. Make sure you get the right fittings.
Yes.
And
we can have a show about those.
Yeah.
We totally could. Yes.
Okay.
Jeff?
All right.
Good.
Yeah.
I think we're on to the next question.
It's true. The first time you turn the switch on for the cool shirt cooler, you will have a personal
Angels
moment.
will sing.
Yeah.
The clouds will part. You will wonder how you. It's like meeting your wife. How did I ever live without this person before now?
Man, it's getting a lot of personal, a lot of head touching and pinching, and now wife talk.
I just want to make sure Vicky knows I wasn't doing the head touching, but that's
Bill, save us with the next question.
So, I guess assuming that you're going to run somewhat stock car just to start, I think what we have is pretty much like that. What do you think would be the first kind of improvement areas or modifications that you would look to make once you have there? Would it be a seat, or a removable steering wheel, fire, brakes? I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be anything.
So I'll jump on this one because I have worked with some other teams in this, and I really feel bad for telling the guys. I've concentrated so much on making sure they pass tech. I thought they understood the basics. So, hit them with the hind, Mike and the boys in the Ranger. I feel bad for never asking, hey guys, what kind of tires and brakes are you running? A stock car, the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to pass tech. You're going to build a cage. You're going to make sure you have all the safety stuff. After that, you really need to make sure it turns and stops. And it doesn't stop with the best brakes you can get at the local parts store. It stops by ordering an expensive, this is part of the budget, I'm sorry, real live race brakes, and having them on good tires.
Part of the budget, but doesn't count against your $500.
But doesn't count against $500. I should
free
say.
Performance.
It's free because it's safety.
Yeah.
So they hit them with the hind guys. They were building a Ranger. They talked to us about their truck, and they showed up with off-road tires and Wagner quiet stops, and they couldn't figure out why they couldn't get around the track. They just couldn't turn because you need to have performance tires. Do you need 200 tread wear, the hottest thing? No, but you need to have good performance tires. We've had teams do very, very well on street tires, but for the same money, you can get the 200 tread wear, but you got to get real race brakes. We love the ST43, the Raybestos ST43. They are the brakes of choice for us. They
should totally sponsor us.
Totally sponsor us, Raybestos. And they will make it for anything if you give them enough time. So, Chris, where do we get our ST43s?
Porterfield. Porterfield makes them for us, and we've had them make ST43s for an Oldsmobile Bravada. So, right, if they will make them for an Oldsmobile Bravada caliper, they will make them for anything you possibly can think of.
Yeah.
They should also totally sponsor us.
I have heard that if you ask them for something weird enough, they tell you to just send them a couple of old backing plates so that they can make sure that they do it right.
They could have done the Citroen if we'd asked them to. So
yeah. So you need real brakes. I know you mentioned like seat, and you put in your question mark like a movable seat. Like the only seats that are going to pass tech are not movable, but you can mount them on sliders if they are the right sliders. Stock sliders that have 2 safety locks on them are acceptable. I don't know what's in your car now, but everybody who doesn't have that goes and gets a TJ Jeep slider out of the junkyard for $50, and they work great.
It's exactly like the one that Sparco sells. When you look at the pictures, it's uncanny how close it is. They're flat, they're double lockable, they have all kinds of mounting points. This is what we have in the passenger seat of the Civic, is with the TJ Jeep slider.
Yeah, TJ Jeep sliders are great.
Mental, what's up?
Oh.
Well, and I was going to say, now I know early on, because I've been with you guys since 2009, and we did the sliders thing, but we've leaned more towards foam. Everybody on the team carries their own little foam backing, so you set it for the tallest driver, and then a little bit of duct tape, a little bit of seat foam, and that tends to be a little bit more personalized and I think safer.
It depends on how big the difference between drivers is. Like Jim is 6'2" and Chrissy's 5'8". It's a little too big of a difference for us without the seat slider. So a good quality double locking, especially the one on the Jeep, it's an OEM. It had to pass all the OEM quality and safety and crash standards. So it's going to be better than Bill's race shop. So
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but no offense, Bill.
I'm working on a race shop.
No offense. And honestly, it's all about the brakes. You need to stop. You need to make sure that every piece of that brake component is right. You need to check every line. You need to put in good fluid. Yes, go, Chris.
Don't use wooden brake pads. I know you
don't
like
use
wood, but we talked about that. No wood.
No.
They heat up well, though.
Do heat up well. Honestly, there's a lot of racers out there who have now turned to the Douglas Ultra Track as a joke. They thought it would be really funny if they bought the cheapest tires at Walmart they can, and they're like I think like 400 tread wear, and people are saying like they survive, and maybe this is not a horrible plan. It's not the way to win, but they're good tires that actually work and are dirt cheap, and those guys, and they're predictable.
They let go a predictable manner. Yeah.
Yes, but nobody ever says don't run race brakes.
Mm-mm.
No, it's true.
right? So okay, so you can get in the seat.
Street stumps.
You can get in the seat. You can stop. You can turn. Your tires are going to survive. The Douglas Ultra Tracks are going to last all weekend. Real race brakes are going to last all weekend. Now, to make the car last all weekend, you need to make sure it gets cool enough. We put oil coolers on all of our cars, and it makes a tremendous difference. After that, it's really going to be model specific. What are the weak spots of your model? This is where, if you're running something familiar like Chris talked about, helps. Head gaskets on Subarus. Guys carry 4 and 5 of them. Distributors on the Hondas. Chris always carries at least 2. Our S10 goes through fuel pumps and starters like no tomorrow. That's where it's kind of you need the model knowledge.
One thing I don't think we talked about that needs to be said about belts before we forget: buy the FIA certified belts, not
That's
the
great.
SFI, because in New Jersey especially, the FIA belts are good for 5 years. The SFI ones are good for 2. So
Because
buy
New Jersey.
FIA belts.
Yeah. For those of you who don't race in the East, New Jersey, when they opened their new big race track, put in a bunch of really weird laws to make sure that we don't, affect the world and the community by racing our things out in the street. And one of them is they said that belts are only good from 2 years of the date on the belt. Well, that's great, except every other sanctioning body in the world doesn't use that standard.
Jeff, you're not thinking of the children. Think of the children.
Thinking of the children, yes. And since FIA puts what is it? The date of
expiration.
Expiration. They put the date of expiration. You can actually use them for the whole life.
Okay.
So cool. Any other thoughts on that? Anything we missed there for you, Bill?
I feel like we need to give the rest of the show to Chrissy because I'm looking at the notes and she has got some brilliant points.
She does, but we're finishing this last question still.
As always, she does.
Bill, did we miss anything that you about?
I'm sure, but I don't even know right now. So I'm still working tired of going over the bridges in Philadelphia.
We're going to get you drunk in New Jersey and you're going to spill it all.
Okay.
Well, I went to Rutgers, so I can claim nothing else.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good.
So move on to your next question. We'll let Chrissy answer this one, whatever it is.
All right. There's some things that you can read the Lemons rules, and sometimes they make sense to people who know what they're talking about, and they didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But there's probably some other stuff in there that you guys might think we should look at investing in that could be valuable, maybe for safety, reliability, performance, or just making it through the weekend. So is there any thoughts you guys had on that?
We have a bunch. We already came up with a good couple of them, I think, just kind of randomly. But one of the things we find that we just absolutely love is a good pano mirror, either a wink mirror or a pano mirror.
Not a wink. Not a wink.
Oh, we don't like the wink?
No, that's the thing. The pano is so much better than the wink.
We used the wink in the truck for a long time, or the boat.
And then we went to the pano and we said, F the wink. That was so bad. Pano.
Yeah.
For
those of you who...
That's the really wide mirror?
Yes. The long...
It's a panoramic mirror, not a wink or a multi-panel mirror. Multi-panel bad, panoramic good.
Well, all of this is better than stock. Okay, so that's what I was taking.
That's very sure, yeah.
Right, don't use stock, especially because the pano is nice because you'll be able to you can move it up and down, and you're going to be able to see your head, your helmet, and the roll cage. So be able to see more and around that is going to be really helpful.
Okay.
Also having actual fuel racing jugs, not lawnmower ones. That's going to be really helpful. Especially even if this is your first race, get 2 or get 1. I think there's plenty of people that kind of go through them and they either get better ones. So you might be able to get some old ones, used ones from other teams. But there's
#Hunsaker should totally sponsor us.
We Hunsickers are great. So radios, they're not required, but they are a huge help. It's nice to talk to your teammates if something's going wrong, or you just want to sit around and talk to them. Like sometimes if you're a yellow or even a red flag and you're going slow or stopped.
Someone read me exotic literature.
You just want to have a human to talk to.
It also really helps when you're trying to have someone come in for the pits to know when. Really, and, you could be teams that are really, really good that they say, all right, well, I'll see you at 2:00, and everyone's a pro. They know what they're doing.
Well, sometimes if you're running out of gas, earlier than you thought you were. Then you
true.
have your whole team. You're waiting for your team on pit row, or vice versa. They're waiting for you, and you don't realize you need to come in. Go ahead, Mental.
My favorite thing about Three Pedal Mafia is you guys all dial your radios up on the same thing. So I know what's happening in turn 12 when I'm in turn 2. I know what's happening on the other side of the track. I know what car is a pack full of idiots. I know what car is a pack full of aggressive D-bags. It's great just hearing all that information.
And you know what they're doing in the paddock, and I tell people to make sure they stir the lunch. That also happens.
And before we get off radios, I just want to mention that even really cheap, like Family Talk radios with a headphone will work for probably like 65% of the track. So you can do really cheap ways to make this happen, to be able to at least say, hey, butthead, come in, you're done. Or, hey, the car's broke, I'm getting pulled in. Like, basic communication is very helpful.
The moderately better setup, though, is not all that much more expensive.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. What would that be?
Like the Baofeng radios, or go to like Rugged Race radios, or even on Lemon's website. Actually, I should say Lemon's own store for gear and all the things they have. It's the prices are quite decent, and the gear is all appropriate. Like, they have the really entry level stuff, and they say this is entry level, and they have a bit better and then a bit better. So they really do give you the stuff that's right, but not the real super high end stuff that you're probably not going to buy as a
IMSA team level crap.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My friend Todd he runs a base station in his car. So it's an actual full powered radio, and at Road Atlanta, where you're separated from turn 6 and 7 by dirt, you could still hear that track all the way around the car. So that's, if you're looking to upgrade the radio in your car, put the base station radio in your car.
Cool. Chrissy, I know you got more on your list, so we don't want to take all your time.
I'm so sorry, Chrissy.
Just a few things. A pop-up tent may seem like a small thing, but really great, especially when it's really hot or it's raining.
She's so right. So right.
Pop-up tents are great. And make sure you're bribing. So bring bribes for the judges. And don't bring crappy booze. Don't bring crappy beer. Having lunch is really a great thing. We have judged. So having everybody that's standing around, especially if it's quiet and they're not doing anything, sometimes food is hard to find. So bringing them a sandwich or some breakfast or a cup of coffee is always a nice thing.
Totes.
Making sure, it sounds like you are already prepared with food and some booze. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but making sure that you're bringing plenty of that. The worst thing is that you're standing around and everybody's hungry and they just don't really know where to go get food. Some tracks don't always supply some food. So making sure that you have plenty of that, because being hungry is the last thing you really want to deal with while you're standing at the track. And my last thing is a good attitude. So it sounds like your younger teammates might need to change their attitude a little bit, but making sure that everybody is, even if the weekend doesn't go well, it sounds like your goals are pretty, the bar is set pretty low. So hopefully everybody will feel like they have been successful after your weekend, regardless of how much driving. Hopefully you're driving all weekend, but even if you're not, you're having a good time with friends, and usually that's how it goes down.
I'd say realistic rather than low.
Oh, absolutely. But
same difference.
Same difference.
Bribes are also great for other people in the paddock who will help you fix your janky car because you don't really know what you're doing. You can beer and bacon.
I'm going to update the bribe budget right now.
Beer
it doesn't need
and
much, though.
bacon.
You can't bribe the corner workers. That's our thing, buddy. So
Sure.
just
No worries.
Yeah, beer and bacon are currency in a Lemon's paddock. So,
but last time when we were at Atlanta, I guess there was a bunch of teams that were trying to help. They weren't actually our teams, but we brought them cookies. Like it's something. It doesn't have to be something expensive. Doesn't have to be nice booze. It's just a thank you. I think that's most of it.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. One of the other things I wanted to mention is it's kind of like camping. When you're there for the weekend, you have to think about it like camping. So make sure you're bringing enough water. Make sure you're bringing Gatorade. You don't want to have to run out of the track to get things. So think about it as camping for all weekend, and you'll be fine. Go ahead, Chris.
One quick tip that's really helped us, especially cut down on the waste we have at the track, is we don't just bring packages of bottled waters and Gatorades. Is we each have a Nalgene bottle, reusable with everyone's name on it, and that way you're not. Otherwise, you end up with 47 bottles of water that have 8 sips taken out of them all over the paddock, and you have no idea whose is whose. So we just get get those 5-gallon Rubbermaid Gatorade jugs, and one's full of water, one's full of Gatorade. Everyone has a bottle, and you dramatically cut down your waste.
Wow. I'm looking at the time here, so I'm just going to basically open it up to Bill to say anything else that's really just on the tip of your head or you really got to do like this week. We have a moment or two. We can answer just any oddball, weird question you have.
So this week, we're actually heading out to Disney tomorrow, but when we get back, I get to change my first transmission into Capri. So the questions will arise very quickly when I get back, but I don't have any at this point.
That sounds like so much fun. Do you have help? Go find some help.
I am drafting my son and his friend who claim to be wrench people as well as amazing drivers.
Perfect. So quote the Book of Haynes, assembly is the opposite of removal.
I actually have the original.
Oh no! Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry.
72 Capri. So
keep going.
Woo!
That's good. Normally, changing the trans in a rear drive car, the two things I can say are get the car up as high as you can on quality safe jack stands before you do anything, because that makes it feel so much better.
Yes.
And you're probably going to need a lot of extensions and a U-joint socket. Because to get to some of the bell housing bolts,
I gotcha.
You're going to be under the car with every single 3/8 drive extension you have, and then
and 3 U-joints.
Right.
Now,
and if they wobble, then you can make it go at like a U.
Yeah.
Now,
nice.
This is assuming that my project to breed monkeys with really tiny hands and the strength of Zeus does not get a viable candidate before next week. But I've been working on that for years and years and years, and I'm really close. Close.
Keep me in mind.
University research.
University funded research, that is. Oh, it's been a lovely week. I think we're ready to move on to our final segment.
And I know we always do this whole big thing where we fry this up, but I actually just typed this in the notes. Chrissy, I didn't think I could love you more.
Oh,
I was wrong.
That's so nice.
Hey.
Yeah, really? Where did that come from?
Not, bro. It ain't even like that, man.
I know.
Do you want to finish your sentence and say why, or just go right to just the tip?
Honestly, no.
Or it's because of just the tip, really.
This is why.
Folks, pay attention to this just a tip. And this is the thing, because I know both of you guys have really taken this seriously. And I think it shows in across the board how you guys have been able to do this.
So everybody doesn't know what we're talking about. Let's go.
All right, go for it.
Just the tip time, go.
That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So today's just the tip. So we're talking about new to racing, but do you realize how strenuous racing actually is? So even if you think you're in good shape, it's often that you're not doing things strenuously. Bill shaking his head. That you do something strenuous consistently for a long period of time. So unless you're like a marathoner or a long distance swimmer, or, do something for a really long time, then you're really good at it, and you probably are good at racing then too. But chances are you're not. So if you start out with long stints, you could get worn out and then you'll ruin your whole weekend. We've had this issue when you're going, the first time we started with 4-hour stints, we got out of the car, fell down, couldn't do anything for the rest of the weekend. So if you're new to racing, here's some ideas. So start out with small driving stints. It sounds like Bill's already preparing for that, and make sure that everybody gets a stint, but starting with a half an hour to 45 minutes, good way to start, making sure that you're feeling you know how your body's going to react when you're driving consistently at a pretty good clip. Make sure in the car, this is my favorite, bring water. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring water.
Hydrate or die.
And that's how I feel like even if I'm in the car for like 10 minutes. So we've talked about Camelbacks. We talk about them all the time, but make sure you're going to be so happy if you bring one. So you're often so focused on breathing. I'm a mouth breather, and you're breathing a lot because you're busy and you're doing stuff and your mouth just gets dry easily. So having that sip of water is just going to be fantastic. Make sure you eat before you get in the car. So some people might get an upset stomach, but you need to fuel to keep your brain sharp and to make sure you keep moving. If it's so if your lunch is coming and you're like, oh, it's chili or meatballs, or like, oh, that's going to be gross, and you don't want to be Ralph. That's our friend who throws up in the car.
He's not our friend, Chrissy. Don't like Ralph. Get
right.
Ralph.
Don't be Ralph. Okay, so and then if you think that's not going to sit well, just eat a granola bar, some almonds, do something that's going to sit. But you need to make sure that you're eating, especially actually if your stint goes and it's going to be over lunchtime, which for some reason mine usually ends up that way. If you think that you are going to be hungry, eat something before you get in. And then lastly, make sure that if you don't party too much if you can help it. So if
Dave, welcome to Everyone Racers.
Right. So especially if you're driving first, we always figure out if it's who's driving first, I better stop drinking or whatever the line is. So make sure that if you're going to be dehydrated or hungover, it's going to make your stint miserable.
Hey,
but it
Greg,
also can
how you doing?
make it dangerous. So that's what I have. There's probably more, but those couple
E1R?
things are an easy place to start.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, dehydration, I think, can really, really mess up your weekend. It can make you throw up. It can make you not sharp, or it can just make you not really enjoy yourself, or cramps. Mm-hmm. I know I have fought cramps while I'm dehydrated on some of the longer stints. It's just
and in the
hydrate.
In the car, once you start to realize that you are not as sharp as you need to be, it's way too late. You need to come in now.
Because honestly, no jokes aside, you start getting into that mental confusion, and that's when you start making mistakes. That's when you're passing under yellows. That's when you become dangerous.
We've seen
to other drivers.
We've seen people lost in the paddock. They don't know where they are. They turned off track because they didn't feel well, and they got lost in a small paddock. Like they didn't know where they were because they were out of it from dehydration.
Yeah, and I want to throw this out there. Bill's out here. Bill's bringing his wife and his child. Folks, you're out there not 100%. You're endangering Bill's wife and his child. And
more importantly, Mental's hair.
My hair is actually idiot proof. Bill's wife and child are way more important than my hair. Okay. I will shave my head to protect Bill's wife and child.
Of course.
Okay. So that's what I got.
Challenge accepted. Chris, we're getting to the end of the show. Do you want to talk about what's going on next week? Because next week we have another guest.
If you
don't know his title, it's in the notes, by the way.
We are so excited to welcome from Grassroots Motorsports Magazine, also known as Motorsports Marketing, the art director and production manager, J.G. Pastor Jack will be here. We've all met JG.
He's a big dog, man. Sorry.
We've all met JG at the challenge the times we've been. He's a great guy. He has a great history in the sport. He's a great driver. He's a great person all around, and we're looking forward to having him on the show.
Awesome. And I just want to say thank you to our second guest. It's been great having you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
You're still going to be answering more of your
you.
questions.
Thank you guys.
You guys really, you really gave us a great show today.
We're amazed that we can be helpful, like a little. So,
if it makes you feel better, I had about 3 times that many questions and trimmed it down before you guys fell asleep. So
good.
Okay.
Bill, forward us those questions, or
Okay.
post them on our Facebook page, and we'll go through and answer them. And then also the community will join in and answer that as well. Because honestly, I'm looking forward to meeting you in Meat World when we get to New Jersey.
Okay. Well, the one thing I wanted to say was I hate Facebook, and the only reason I actually joined it was to get you guys a message because I couldn't figure out another way to get there. So
Noted.
We'll find
Noted.
Okay, so
We'll handle that.
Email us the list. Email us the list. We'll put it up on the Facebook page so that you don't have to go.
I figured out how to do it now. So
Okay.
we'll get it there.
Chris Abbott is also not really on Facebook.
Yeah.
You may see him there, but he ain't there. Anyway, let's get to the outro. Thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers, including Bill and his family. Woo! We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer.
Bill and his family.
Even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. Hashtag Android for Life. Sorry, I stumped on my words there. Android for Life.
He's a little slow.
Okay, have any questions?
Seriously,
or want to
you're
give
like
us
the
some
worst
show
Borg
ideas?
ever.
I know. If you have any questions or want to give us some show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page or just email us, Everyone Racers, or our Lemons Team, 3-Pedal Mafia Lemons Team Facebook page. If you'd like to help us produce the show, donate to the cause at patreon.com/Everyone Racers, or just call us up and you could have a commercial. Thanks again. Until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep it.
Wow.
Okay.
Let's stop.